What's going on, everybody? It's Dot Bets. We're checking back in. We got our on the dot wild card weekend on the dot live stream coming at you guys here. Sorry, had a little brain fart there. What to say next? But I appreciate you guys tuning in. It's a different time. We are not in the morning. Maybe that's the reason for the little slip up there. But we are live here Friday night. We're going to do Friday night the next couple of weeks with the Saturday, Sunday, Monday setups with the wild card divisional round and go from there. So if you got any questions, make sure you guys throw them in the chat. Would love to hear who is here on a Friday night. And if you are watching the replay, if you're watching later tonight, if you're watching it early tomorrow, whenever you're diving into your football research, make sure you guys leave a comment. Would appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. We are close to 200 subscribers, which I never would have ever thought, which is pretty cool. Like I said plenty of times, if there's 1 or 0, I would still be doing these streams because I like doing them. So hopefully you guys have won some money this year. Last show, we did really well. Coming off, I think it's 5 out of the last 6 or 6 out of the last 7 are in profit. Went 5-2 plus 2.4 units last stream. We had a nice little walk-off touchdown from Scary Terry, which was pretty sick. I was screaming at the TV the entire day. Didn't talk to my kids. Didn't talk to my wife. I was down in the dumps. I was like, come on, give the ball to Scary Terry. Then it happened, and then I could finally talk to my kids. So it was nice. But if this is your first time tuning in, I appreciate it. We will go over my favorite spread. I have a same game parlay that I like. Also have a teaser, which the Falcons just continue to. As soon as the Bucs won, they just literally shut off. So it sucked that game went to overtime. I was hoping that game got over a little bit quicker without going to overtime, as they were double-digit leads and stuff. So. But yeah, so we got a teaser play, and then we got 3 player props along with my anytime pick-to-click touchdown of the week. So love to hear from you guys if you're here. Otherwise, we will get going. As always, this stream is brought to you guys by Occupy Fantasy. Make sure you guys go check Brian and all the guys over at Occupy Fantasy. Tell them I sent you. I will go over with their Occu prop radar. As you guys have seen all season long, it utilizes every single book, every single prop that they have to offer, and you can easily click and make the bet there. So it's pretty cool. Always use it. I literally use it before I make any bet, just to make sure I'm getting it right. What do we got here? We got Brandon here. What's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. And so yeah, wild card weekend. All right, we got 6 beautiful games stretched out over 3 days. We got the Chargers Texans tomorrow, Steelers Ravens as well, and then we got 3 on Sunday, and then we got the Vikings Rams now in Arizona with all the fires over in LA. So we have the Vikings and the Rams on Monday Night Football over in Arizona to cap off wild card weekend. So definitely. One of my favorite betting weekends of the season, I would say. A lot of people wait for like the Super Bowl and everything like that and all those props. I get it. I love that too. But there's 6 beautiful games with plenty of great teams. And one angle that I like, I haven't disclosed to the Discord. I haven't done anything with this stream yet, but I've kind of thought about it. It was those 4 running quarterbacks and kind of running ladders up and running anytime touchdowns for them. So we'll see if that materializes, but that is a thought in my head to do something like that. All right, so let's get going here. We got our first play of the week, and we're going to go to Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon. Looks like at 3:30 Central Standard Time. And we're going to go. Sorry, this one got steamed up before I did my my banner here. I think it's at 5.5. So let me shoot this over here. but we're going to go Eagles. Eagles 5.5. And let me just take a gander over at the live odds tab just so I make sure I'm getting that correctly. Sorry, there is a 4.5 over on FanDuel. Sorry, there is a 4.5 still hanging out over on FanDuel. I apologize. We will go that route. 4.5 over on FanDuel still. Everywhere else is showing 5s and 5.5. 5.5. Kind of got steamed, I would assume, because of the news that came out today. Hurts, Smith, and AJ Brown are all active. The main one being there was Jalen Hurts, obviously having the passing the concussion protocol. But this, I think this is a steamroll game for the Eagles. Love the Packers and what they did all season long. I think they're just going to run into a wall, especially with this defensive front for the for the Eagles. And if they're not getting Josh Jacobs active and getting good runs out of him, I think this is a rout, because I think Jalen, Saquon, Brown, Smith, Goddard, I mean, they're going to be a handful for this Packers defense at home for the Eagles here. I think you could see a 6 at some point before kickoff. At some books, maybe you might see it at DraftKings or whatnot. But Jordan Love has that. I think it was an elbow injury. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I'm pretty sure it's an elbow injury, not a hand injury. He basically couldn't grip the ball and couldn't go back into the game. Then you got Malik Willis. If that flares up, I mean, that's game over for the Packers, in my opinion. But they did lose Christian Watson for the season, so you're going to have to see Wicks, Reed, and Dubs. Then you got Tucker Kraft as well there. So I've seen a lot of people take the under in this game. I've seen a lot of people take the under, which was a lot of people's angles the first time around when these two teams played, and it was a shootout. I think it was like 34-28. So I'm back in the Eagles here. I'm back in the better team. Definitely can see this team winning by a touchdown or more. Let me know what you guys think. If any got any Packers fans in the chat, let me know why I should be going for the Packers. All right, and we'll go right into our same game parlay, and we're going to go to the Monday night game. Two elite receivers, and you've kind of seen JJ taper off a little bit for he's just a little bit more sporadic. I would say, 4 out of the last 6 games, he's 92 yards and above, but the dud last week in Detroit with 54 yards, and then he's had 48 and 27. So he's had some more duds, but I think in the playoffs against this young secondary for the Rams, you're going to see JJ step up, especially with Kevin O'Connell going against Sean McVay. Those two are offensive masterminds. This is going to be a beautiful game to watch. I truly think it's whoever can establish the run the quickest in this game will lead to opening up the pass game, which it's a toss-up. I like the Rams, but I mean, I could definitely see the Vikings winning this game. So I think that line is moved from like -2.5 to +1.5. But we're going to go with the passing attack on both ends, because Puka has been an absolute machine, and you have to. I don't know what happened to Cooper Kupp. I don't know if they got disinvited to the Breakfast Club with Stafford, but it's kind of mind-boggling. But Puka Nacua is basically the alpha and alpha receiver, has been since he came back from his injury. So we're going to go a nice little same game parlay. JJ 70+ receiving yards and Puka 7+ receptions. 7 receptions seems like a ton, right? That number is pretty gaudy, but the amount of targets he's getting, he's averaging basically the last 10 games 10.2, last 5 10.6, with spikes of 13s and 14s targets. So and he's got 7+, basically. He's got 7+ receiving receptions, or he's got over 7 in 8 of his last 10. And he just incredible matchup here with the Vikings as well, who give up a ton to the receiving, and they have to get the ball out quick. And if you've seen any way they get the ball to Puka, it's these they get him in motion, they swing it out to him, and they have Cooper Kupp and they have Robinson, they have Atwell doing those little bubble screens, and then he takes it yards after catch. I thought about doing his receiving yards, maybe going 70-70 there. But I like the receptions a little bit more here as they're going to get Puka involved. So I really like this one here with JJ 70+ receiving yards and then Puka 7+ receptions here. FTP, please. I don't even know what that means. I don't know if that's slang. Sorry, Blake. I don't know what that is. Let me know. All right. Question here from Brandon. Great question here. This is probably, I would say, the closest game of the week besides, I mean, Vikings Rams is a toss up here. But I would take the Commanders over the Bucks in my opinion. I my only scare here is that Jaden Daniels gets cold feet, big time game. It's his first playoff game, but he's just so calm, cool, and collective. And it's like nothing bothers him. So I really, really like if you want to take the Commanders over the Bucks. So, oh, gotcha. There we go. Yep. I forgot. That makes sense. Makes sense. My bad. That was a boomer moment right there. All right. So we got our spread and we got our same game for those, and then we will go with our teaser. So the teaser is, I mean, it's kind of boring. You could tease up, like I just said, the Commanders. Only reason why you wouldn't tease them up is due to that high total. So points aren't as much of a premium there. From usually, the long teasers or whatnot, you want to make sure that's the points are, below a certain amount, a low total game, and then you tease it up so points are at a premium. So that ruled out the Commanders game. If you want to just take the Commanders +3 or straight up, I'm okay with that. But we're going to go just straight up, kind of a boring one. But I don't understand how these two teams could be pretty close. So we're just going to go Bills, Ravens. And I've seen all the talk on X and threads of everyone putting, I think it's the Ravens, the Bills, and the Eagles all together, or Ravens, Bills, Eagles money line together for like +100 and saying that's the bet of the week for gambling Twitter or whatever, which I get. But one of those three teams are going to be a little closer game. Obviously, I'm going to take the higher spreads here, just tease them down. The Bills should absolutely roll against the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos are, they have, when they play a good team, obviously besides last week because they're playing the Chiefs backups, but when they play a good team, they have not shown up. They don't have the offense to do it. Bo Nix, dink and dunks will just not get it done. And then you got the Bills, Josh Allen. They're ready to roll. They're ready to roll at home. They should definitely get there. And then the Ravens against the Steelers here, 8.5 total. Obviously, the Steelers offense has just been horrific. I'm actually kind of wondering if you see some more Justin Fields, but I think Tomlin is just going to ride out Russ. And I don't know if they're questioning themselves. They had that little stretch where Russ was being Russ, but he has just been not good. Him and granted, Pickens' last game was horrific. The drops, and I hope we don't see too much of him trolling any more fans or any teammates or showing anybody up, because you got to shut up after that performance. It was bad. But yeah, the Steelers are just kind of offensively not very good. Defensively, if they do not get to Lamar Jackson, he's running all over the place, which I think he's going to be doing. I think the Ravens roll, go to the second round and go from there. I'm 32. You can't be much older. 37 or 38. Oh boy. All right. In the chat, please guess my age. Guess my age. You're kind of close. I want to see these guesses. I will disclose at the end. But you are kind of close right here. Kind of close. All right. Let's get into our player props here. We got 3 of them, and one absolutely shot up. I was Oh boy. Wow, you're over 40. No, no shot. Brandon 35. We're getting close. We're getting close. We'll see. We'll see if someone guesses it. All right. This one shot up. When I was looking at it throughout the week, even this morning, it was at 16 and a half receiving yards. And obviously everyone looked at it and said, this makes too much sense to happen. And every time that he's played his, significant amount of snaps that he usually does, and he has not been on the out with a concussion, more than likely hits this. So we're going to go to that Commanders Bucks game. Austin Eckler over 19 and a half receiving yards, minus 113 over on FanDuel. I was going to do his receptions because the Bucks defense is dead last to the running back position. I believe it's David who has to basically the linebacker who has to get these guys, and he's just old, not very good at covering fast, quick, receiving threats out of the backfield. Obviously, I don't think Brian Robinson should have much of an impact through the air here. And if they get into a negative game script, this screams over. And if they're +3, you got to kind of build for that. So this is probably a good reason why I went from 16 and a half this morning, basically to 19 and a half as we're rolling here. And let me bring up the OccuProp radar real quick, just so you guys can see. Over here on OccupyFantasy.com, go over to the betting tab, click OccuProp radar. And all you do is search for their names. All their available props are on the left-hand side here. So you go to total receiving yards, and you've seen, so it actually has gone up to 20 and a half, pretty juiced over at DK. But so yeah, you take that over 19 and a half, minus 113. So I like the matchup here. The negative game script could definitely happen. And the crazy part is, he's gotten as high as 9 targets in a game, but usually he's gotten around 3. 3 to 4 per game, with receiving totals being as high as 89. But his average, his last 10 games are 26.7. Last 5 games, which I think he's gotten even more involved the last several, is 31.8. So I still think this line is too low. So if it does grow to like mid-20s, if someone's watching this late, I wouldn't go mid-20s, but I'd say if it sticks around 20, 21 and a half, go around that particular one. So he had 2 catches for 20 yards last week. That's why I thought that 16 and a half was pretty low. Obviously, so did everybody else. But we're going to go with Austin Eckler over 19 and a half receiving yards. For what game is that? That is the Sunday night game. Commanders Bucks. Question here from Brandon. Will you think Bateman takes over Zay Flowers' role, or Mark Andrews and likely shine more? And that'll just lead me to my next prop. So great question here. I think it's going to be dispersed between the tight ends because, you're basically going to see Bateman fill in for Zay Flowers and do what he needs to do. You kind of saw that last week. But I think matchup-wise, it screams more for the tight ends. So if you're going and you have 2 very elite receiving tight ends. So what I'm going to go with, and you might see it on later in the show with the other one, but we're going to go Isaiah Likely over 28 and a half receiving yards. This one makes too much sense here. Obviously, like you just said with the Zay Flowers, but it just depends on what you think, if it's Bateman or if it's Andrews or if it's Isaiah Likely. But if you've watched these Ravens games, even when Flowers was involved, you still, Likely is still running in the two tight end sets. I just think they run a lot more of them, and he sets up in the slot. Him and Andrews can go and basically mix and match. The matchup versus the Pittsburgh defense. Receptions are basically bottom 10, 6, basically 6 a game, and receiving yards is middle of the pack with 52. And so I really, really like Isaiah Likely here. His targets have been pretty steady. Last week he had 5, but then he has as high as 8, but then 2 and 3, and I think the one against Houston was more of a fluke than anything. But you've seen, he's averaging last 5 games 3.8 targets. Obviously, matchup driven. You can sometimes you can take those regular season numbers, and with this scenario happening with Zay Flowers, you're going to get it dispersed between the tight ends, in my opinion, with the matchup that they have. My guess, the more likelihood for this one to hit than Andrews. That's why I like that. So Likely over 28.5. I'm going to pull that OccuProp radar just so I'm making sure I have the right line, but I'm pretty sure it hasn't gone anywhere. I think it might have started at 27.5 and gone up. So it's as high as 29.5 at Caesars and DK, but otherwise it's 28.5. It's actually 110 over at BetMGM if someone's got that. So go right ahead and do that. But I really likely to get there against this defense against the Steelers defense. Sorry. All right. So that was a good question, Brandon. Let me know if you guys have any other ones. I got 2 more plays to throw at you guys here. So we'll probably be here for another 5 minutes or so. And our next one goes to, where are we going to go? Oh, that Sunday morning game or Sunday afternoon, the Bills, Broncos. We're going to go. I mean, I feel like this is plain and simple as day too. But it makes the most sense. And if you've watched any Josh Allen playoff game, you got to take his rush yards. You just have to. It's like an afterthought. You just see the line. I think the line actually started at 39.5. By the time we did the stream, it's at 41.5, which I thought would be mid 40s. It might be mid 40s by the time people, start betting on it or whatnot. But I mean, I could see this ending at 43.5, 44.5. But you have basically, it doesn't even matter if it's a blowout or not. It's in the playoff game. And the Broncos run a bunch of man coverage. With man coverage, you're going to have, especially if they don't get to the quarterback, you're going to have lanes to run. Obviously, as the wide receivers basically take away all the defenders, and so they can go ahead and Allen can use his legs. Last year, he had 70 plus rush yards in both playoff games that he played, and he's actually cleared about 40 plus in 7 of his 10 career postseason games. So when it's time, he just basically uses his legs, and you're going to see that all the time. If you want to take his touchdown, anytime touchdown, he's going to be in plenty of them. He'll be in some of mine. It just makes too much sense this week to play Josh Allen, and probably going to see it if they continue to win. More and more people take his rush yards the closer he gets to the Super Bowl. So matchup great with the man coverage, let alone it being a postseason game. And you've seen it even in the regular season. If it's an important game, close game, he always uses his legs. And so I see that happening once again here. Kind of an easy pick, but hey, I think it's a no-brainer. I don't think it's low-hanging fruit. So let's bring that OccuProp radar up one more time. And we should see where it's at. Where would it be? We got total rushing yards. Okay, so 41.5 over at BetMGM. As high, okay, so this makes sense. As high as 43.5 at Caesars, 43.5 on FanDuel. So yeah, it's going to creep up. If you're watching this stream late, make sure I wouldn't take it anything over 44.5 probably, but it probably won't get anywhere higher than that. But I could see 44.5 being the height there, and I'm okay with 50 plus here. That might be a ladder that I do with all 4 of those quarterbacks. All right, and for the age, I know no one's commented since then, but I'm only 34, but I still consider myself a boomer at times, especially with this the slangs and all that. But yeah, So 34 it is. I'm not 40. Not yet. All right. So we'll finish the stream here. We got our anytime touchdown score, pick to click. We got back on the board there with Scary Terry with the walk-off. It was electric there. And I will have plenty of anytime touchdown scores, plenty. I will have a same game parlay for each wildcard game as well. So if you are watching this and you're not in the Discord, you can get all access to my plays. I have a special discount, 50% off, NFL 50. Use the link below and you're in. So make sure you guys get all my plays. I'm gearing up for a big weekend. I will be very, very, very in tuned with every single game. And we should definitely get some multiple same game parlays going and multiple anytime touchdown tickets to cash. So big weekend ahead. And we're going to start with this guy, Mark Andrews. So I just talked about Isaiah Likely. Now even this guy has scored a touchdown in like 8 of his last 10 games. And I remember like week 2 and week 3, people were talking about like, this guy's just hang it up. It's just not going to be good. But also the Steelers defense, I just talked about how they're even, bad against the tight end. They've been giving up passing touchdowns like crazy. And Lamar hasn't ran it in as many times. And Henry obviously had like that 2 or 3 touchdown game. But Lamar has passed for a touchdown, 2 or more in like 8 of his last 10 games. So he is airing it out. He's playing at an MVP caliber. Right now, that's what he's playing like at the MVP of the league. But it's tough to give it to. I don't know. Someone say in the chat who you think the MVP is, because I have to give it to Josh Allen, but man, I just think Lamar's numbers are insane, absolutely insane. So let me know in the chat who do you guys think before we get out of here. But Andrews, you've just got a great matchup here. Let me see. I don't want to misspeak. I want to see what he's actually done. Where'd he go? Mark Andrews. Okay, so he's scored in 8 of his last 10. Okay, and then 5 straight or 6 straight. Unbelievable. Let me see the odds versus Pittsburgh. They've given up 1, 2, 3. Oh, and to add to it, they played obviously before, and Likely and Andrews have scored. So if you want to parlay both of them to score, I'm okay with that too. So go right ahead. Marky Mark, I think the odds here are a little bit of a roller coaster. So let's bring up the OccuProp radar one last time. Oh, that's not the right one. Don't know. Let's see these comments first. Thanks, Dot. And we got, wow, thank goodness you made it sound like it was way too low. Shoo. Which 4 rushers are you getting on again? The 4 quarterbacks, the 4 rushing quarterbacks that are playing this beautiful weekend. We got the Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Jaden Daniels. Those are my 4. Those are my 4 that I'll be building several different plays with, and laddering them. Anytime touchdowns. I like that concept this week. All right, so let me bring up Andrews one last time. Sorry. As it loads. Okay, so touchdown. We got, okay, so plus 125 at Caesars is as low as it goes. Plus 140 on FanDuel. I'm okay with that, but obviously if you have DraftKings, take plus 150 there. So Marky Mark to score in 7th straight game. Believe that's a fantastic play this week. But like I said, I will have plenty more anytime touchdown plays, plenty more. I will have a same game parlay for each and every game. That's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So all you have to do, make sure you guys join the Discord below. Use NFL 50 for 50% off all access picks and plays. And currently we're sweating out a Denny McCarthy matchup versus Harry Hall. I think we were up like 3 strokes last time. So hopefully we get that cash and we'll enjoy our night. All right, we'll get up out of here. I appreciate you guys tuning into this Friday stream. A little bit different, not as hectic. It's Sunday morning. We got to get everything going. More of a laid back Friday stream. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back same time next Friday as well. And if you have any additional questions, hit me up on X. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel if you're watching the replay, or join the Discord, and you have availability to my thoughts 24/7, which is kind of good, kind of bad. But you got me 24/7 in the Discord if you need me. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Let's cash.